Welcome, and thank you for listening to the Without Judgment Coaching Podcast, where we dive into coaching for neurodivergent, high-achieving women who are ready to unlock their potential, regain their passion for work, and live the life that aligns with your dreams. I am Virginie, your host. I'm a life and career coach, and I believe that your career should be more than just a paycheck. In my business, I help my clients who suffer from chronic stress and who feel on the verge of burnout make strong decisions so they can lead the lives they want. Often, it seems like they've got it all on the surface, and yet, inside of them, there is this nagging little voice saying it's not enough. I'm here to share with you all the tips and tools that I've gathered over the years to help you see that you're not alone and that you can be in charge of what's going on in your brain. Tell yourself a different story to change the way you feel and show up in the world. It all starts with our thoughts. And that's good news because you can choose what you think on purpose. You can decide what you don't want to believe when it doesn't serve you. And in each episode, I'll teach you how to be on your side so that you can be successful in your own way. I am a life coach on a mission to get you to discover how to live the life you deserve. So hold my hand and let's go. Hello, and welcome to episode 28 of the Without Judgment podcast. Today we're going to talk about reinventing yourself because I think that's a question that a lot of women, especially neurodivergent women, ask themselves in their career and even sometimes in their personal life, wanting to bring back more fun, lowering the stress, and also get to achieve their wildest dreams. So we're going to talk about that. Greater achievement, lowering stress, and also silencing the little voice, the little negative self-talk. So why this idea of reinvention is especially relevant for neurodivergent women, I think, is because we keep asking ourselves if we are in the right place, what we can change. It's really great to be that curious and open to what could be better. Sometimes it's also quite challenging because we don't always take the time to answer that fully for ourselves. And one of the things that can be an issue is the imposter syndrome voice that we have, thinking that if we're where we are, maybe it's just luck. And let me tell you, it rarely is just luck. Luck is one of the factors, but it's not the only one. Another challenge that we experience is that we can be dangerously on the verge of burnout if we keep wanting to do better, and because we have so many ideas, so many new ways of going at a problem. It's amazing to solve problems like we do, but also we need to say when it's good enough. Then what I want to talk about is really kind of emphasize that reinventing yourself is not about changing who we are deeply, but it's more about really knowing yourself so well that you can embrace it and be on your side, like have your own back, if not 100% of the time, a lot more than what we tend to do. And for that, you may want to identify your strengths and be able to leverage them then, instead of trying to push, not necessarily in the wrong direction, but trying to push yourself harder with things that don't come so easily to you. Finally, I want to let you know that that's going to be the first episode where I talk a little bit about people, women who are expats. And I'm going to have some guests, other coaches who really focus on expat women, to have their different approaches and hopefully bring you different perspective on that idea of reinvention, especially when you are moving abroad for work or also wanting to work there. Then, if we think about what it means to reinvent yourself, I would say that if you have kind of 3 steps process, to look at where you are now and where you want to be and have a reinvention in the process, step one might be to be aware of what's going on right now and why you want to change. So really take inventory of what's happening during your days and weeks and months, and acknowledge not just what you don't like and what you want to stop, but also what's going well and you really want to keep. They are both equally important. As I've mentioned before, it's that principle of the 50-50. As human beings, we're never going to go for the 100% happy and never in negative emotion. We're going to be 50-50. And it's just as important to remind ourselves when we take that inventory of where we are now to acknowledge both sides of things. What is going well for us? What do we really want to keep? And what is really heavy and daunting and we would really love to get rid of? Then we can get creative about how to do that. So when we know a little bit more about what comes easily and what we want to keep, then it's also a good idea to look into our values, like why does it matter? Like why do we want to keep it? And it doesn't need to take hours. Don't go into a super deep investigation. Just, if you want to take a couple of minutes every day and at the end of the day or even at the dinner table and talk about it with your family, if you live with a family, just see what went well. Why did I like it? 2 minutes. What was really a struggle today? And it's not because it's a struggle that it's necessarily negative. You may want to keep it and push to get better at it, but just think about it. Now, once you've got that piece of the taking inventory and awareness of what's going on right now, think about when you have a challenge coming up, when you see an obstacle, do you tend to go and listen to that negative self-talk, that little voice telling you that maybe you're not quite skilled enough, maybe it's going to be too hard, maybe you should just not do it, maybe you should avoid, maybe you should just go watch TV, maybe you should ask someone else to do it instead of you. Whatever is going on, try and see what's coming up for you. And once you know what's coming up for you, think about how is that preventing you from getting what you want. That may be your next job. That might be an opportunity to raise your hand in a meeting and show that you'll get a chance at framing the next piece of the strategy in your company. Or maybe it is about getting a raise or showing that you also knew how to handle that, but you didn't quite dare to put yourself out there. That's one piece of it. And then if we think of my example of expat women especially, and when they might be following someone, they might go for themselves, it's really about in what way can we prepare? What do we think is going to be easy? What do we think is going to be difficult? And we may be completely wrong. That's, of course, going to happen that we get it wrong. But at least we will have something to go to in our mind. Also, keep an open mind. Depending on where you're going, you may or may not have the code. You may or may not have read about it. You may or may not have a big community. But being curious and trying to find that new community in whatever way you want is going to bring some fun to you, even if it's challenging, is kind of key. So brainstorming those kind of ideas. Now, a little bit of a more practical side of things. When thinking about reinvention, I've told you that I think it's really important to assess where you are now, maybe look at why things matter and look at the values that matter most in your life and your business or your work. And also, it's important to see when to ask for help. When you look at what is difficult and how you can make it better, for instance, in the part of reinventing yourself, it's important to know that you are not an island. You don't live alone. There are plenty of people surrounding you, whether you live alone in your house, apartment, or whether or not, you are surrounded by other human beings, and you need to figure out for yourself what is helpful to you. For example, I remember when I was a new mom, I really had zero idea of what would be helpful because I couldn't really anticipate what would be the most difficult or the easiest with my kids and what would change in my routines and my daily activities. So what I appreciated most were the people who decided for me. If someone decided to bring me lunch or dinner, that was awesome because it was a surprise and a decision that I didn't have to make. Other people came and helped with the laundry. Some people came and just helped me clean up after they came with a meal to share. Some other people came and offered to just stroll the baby around so I could take a nap or work on something. That's kind of those examples. When you're thinking about reinventing yourself, look at what is the hardest part of your day or week and see if you can delegate it for free or for a paid offer. What do you think would make the biggest impact when you think about the ultimate goal that you want to achieve? For example, if you want to grow your business and you feel like you don't have enough time to see all of your clients and work on your social media, or you can write all the copy for your social media, but maybe you don't have time to do the editing of the videos. There are several ways of looking at it. Maybe you do something in one go. You decide, I'm gonna record and not edit it. That's one way to go. Or if you have some budget for it, or if you think that's important, then hire someone to help with that. Now, several platforms that exist to hire people, like Fiverr is one of them that I can think of, and I'll try to link to some others in the show notes, because it's really all about the way we think about it. Sometimes we feel so overwhelmed that we don't take the minute to be like, okay, where can I get the help that I need? Instead of staying stuck or feeling it's impossible or it's not for me or whatever thought you're having about it, try and take a breather, a minute to pause and think about being more curious, thinking of not comparing yourself to others in terms of their results, but try to imagine what did they do that helped, that made them be at the level that they are at now. It's the same when you are an expat and you first go, or even if you move in the same country, might be a totally different region, might be a smaller or a bigger town, and you may have some codes that are missing. So again, be curious. Say yes to a lot of things to explore and have fun with it. Enjoy yourself, be curious, and meet plenty of people to learn faster. I hope that this gave you a few ideas about reinventing yourself, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you so much for listening today. I'm very happy that you are here and supporting the podcast, and I will bring my guest in the next couple of episodes along with me to talk to you more about that expat experience. Bye bye. Thank you for listening today. If you like what you heard, you have to go to the website without-judgment-coaching.com and click on the link to book a free 30-minute discovery call with me. You can also find the link on my Instagram bio if you prefer that. I will show you how to reframe the stories going on in your head to serve you and get everything you want, whether it's a new job, a new hobby, or new relationships. Together we can decide if and how I can help you become your best advocate to live the life that you want.